Sir, if we could have your take on why on earth did you think that this idea would work, just connectivity and sharing ideas would work in that scenario?
Thank you very much, Esther. I work at Botswana University, and I'm also affiliated with Wolfson College. And I have been involved with the organization of these conferences over the years in my capacity as a teacher, as a well-wisher, as a fellow Pakistani. And I think younger people are our asset. But at the same time, they are the most sensitive section in our society, whether they are British Pakistanis or they are Pakistanis back home, or the students who have come from Pakistan to study at British universities or similar other universities in the West. Why they are so important? Because they're young, they've got lots of energy, they've got lots of ambitions. But what they read and hear about Pakistan, I think generally is not very inspiring. And they live their lives in the universities, wherever they're studying. But they have ambitions and they have programs and plans to do things for Pakistan, but they don't know how to do that and what kind of issues are there that they should address and what could be the strategies where they could prove more effective as managers, as academicians, and maybe as politicians. So I think this is a kind of homecoming for these young people sitting together, coming from all kind of plural backgrounds, ethnic, religious, doctrinal, and disciplinary, and sharing their pains and pangs and their ambitions together. So I think Oxford University Pakistan Society deserves a big credit and applause for providing this platform. This is the 4th time it's happening. And not only they bring British Pakistanis together, they also bring Pakistanis from Pakistan who may be politicians, media people, or community leaders. And a fair number of people, as you see here, happen to be women. And there are people from religious and ethnic minorities in Pakistan. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity for all kinds of Pakistanis to come together with the salience of younger people. These are the people who will be the assets for change, for a new Pakistan, for a Pakistan which is more plural, more democratic, more self-respective, and which moves forward and which is able to protect its own citizens and also is able to protect its own sovereignty and live in the comity of nations as a respectable country. Knowledge, and I think travel, movement for the sake of knowledge, this is one of the most beautiful things that you guys are doing in your life. This is the best time of your life. I keep telling my students in Bath, this is the best time of your life. You make friendships, you discover yourself, you discover the world around yourself, and you're full of energy. Mazzini, Garibaldi, the founders of New Italy, Young Italy, they were called. They were all students. They were people who had their own fears, who had their own hopes, and they created these nations. And they become the heroes of those societies. So don't underrate what you are doing, and if there is bad news, and I know there is bad news most of the time, whether we look at issues related to Islam, Muslims, or we talk about Pakistan. Some of us are becoming more and more apologetic. We are becoming more and more defensive. Some of us are becoming aggressive. Some of us think that it's very existentialist life. I think we need to confront these issues, and that is where I think reconnecting with our past tradition may be partly helpful to us. And there are good people all around us. So my feeling is that Pakistan, I am very hopeful, because when I look at you people, and many people outside this hall, you are the stakeholders of a peaceful Pakistan, a progressive Pakistan, a Pakistan which is self-confident, Pakistan which builds up bridges with its neighbors, whether it's Afghanistan, Iran, China, or India. Another thing, I think we are very plural, as you could see in this hall. And in my session, I submitted this to our participants, that the best thing we can do is, first of all, we learn about our pluralism. Whether we look at our past, the Aryan past, the Indus Valley civilization past, we look at the Aryan upper Pakistan, where Brahmanism developed before it became Hinduism, and that is where Buddhism flourished, Gandhara civilization, the Greeks came. Christianity came. St. Thomas was a visitor to Taxila, one of the founders of Christianity. And then Islam came, and then Sikhism came. So pluralism is very much in our history, in our grain. So rather than finding it subversive, I think we should accept it, we should celebrate it, we should protect it. I think this is the biggest challenge in the world today. If you ask me, what is the major challenge for the contemporary world? I think to live with pluralism, to accept pluralism, ethnic pluralism, pluralism of gender kind, pluralism of class variety, and pluralism of denominational nature. We belong to different traditions, different ethnicity, but we have still lots of commonalities because we are the descendants of Indus Valley civilization. In our history, there have been invasions, there have been immigrations, there have been displacements, but we have survived. Not only we have survived, we carried on this message of coexistence, civilization. And this is where I think we have a chance, we have an opportunity, and people like you, younger people here who have gathered here, you give me lots of hope. You give hope to one another. Why? It's not a lost case. As long as people like you become the stakeholders, for all kinds of reasons, that country of 180 million has a bright future. Wish you all the best.
Unfortunately, one of the things that frustrates me about Pakistan is how often people in Pakistan or Pakistanis are negative about their own country. Something very different happens in India. People in India are very positive, like to sell India. Something very different happens in Pakistan. So I'm going to have a look at how Pakistan is portrayed. I'm going to have a look at comparison with a very different portrayal of India. And then I'm going to make an argument, you might disagree with me here, that this is not really based on fundamental and objective differences between India and Pakistan. And I'm going to make a kind of final point that you, as the future leaders of, well, current and future leaders of Pakistan, that this is a problem and it does really need changing. Now, as an economist, also read some anthropology, other subjects, Pakistan, also this is actually a very personal interpretation, crossing the border from Pakistan into India, I can't tell the difference. It's the same food, it's the same language, it's the same culture to my mind, and I think anthropologists who've looked at these questions in greater detail tend to agree. And myself as an economist, a lot is actually very similar between North India and Pakistan. The status of women, how politics operates, the relatively poor indicators of development like health and education. You don't find that much difference between North India and Pakistan. South India is very different. They do much better on indicators of human development, for example. And I think that a better way of starting to think or starting to understand the region is to look at language, the spread of language. So you can see that massive sway of the Indo-Aryan language across Pakistan into North India. That is the part of South Asia where women have relatively low status, poor levels of human development. We can see the frontiers of Pakistan, very different again. We can see that area of South India, the Dravidian languages, caste system is there, very different there from North India or Pakistan. That is the place where women have a much greater status. So I think in a lot of ways, in order to understand South Asia, we should forget about borders and look at something like the spread of language. So as leaders of Pakistan, I think there is an important obligation on you to represent Pakistan, not just in Pakistan, but in the rest of the world. Now, Pakistan does have its problems, but Pakistan is not exclusively defined by those problems. Too often, looking at those images of Pakistan, the way Pakistan is portrayed in the West, we can get the impression Pakistan is just about problems. But I would argue, having visited, having had many wonderful trips to Pakistan, Pakistan is not exclusively defined by those problems. Pakistan is a land rich in history, in art, in music, in culture, in politics and debate, and it is really time leaders of Pakistan represented Pakistan. People became leaders of Pakistan, not just leaders in Pakistan. Thank you.
Well, if I have to give you one sentence, my advice in one sentence, that would be that there are quite a few opportunities for working in Pakistan, and there are considerably more challenges facing you if you decide to work on issues in Pakistan, issues relating to law, issues relating to human rights. But rather than put you off, this will make your effort more worthwhile. There are challenges. Just because we have laws doesn't mean that the laws are being properly applied. It is for the people who bring these ideas, who are people who make the difference. It is laws that can be both used and laws that can both be misused. And we have quite a few of those. There are examples, quite a few of the cases that have been brought under the blasphemy laws. They have been for reasons other than blasphemy. That the list goes on. And so the issue and the point that I was trying to make is that we have a very long struggle ahead of us if we have to ensure that everyone has access to justice, to the rights that the Constitution grants to the people of the country, and if we have to make human rights a reality for the people of Pakistan. It would be for young leaders like you, be they lawyers, be they sociologists, and social sciences for me are very important, because when we plan advocacy, like we are planning something against the death penalty or against police torture, and maybe some of the experts present in the room will agree with me, we have absolutely no data, we have absolutely no academic material on which to build these campaigns or to work on these issues. And so it is for all of us, particularly those of us who have had the good fortune of having a privileged education, that we play our bit, and so that we can make justice and human rights a reality for the people of Pakistan.
My name is Mohammed Asim. I'm a graduate of UCL in Electronic Electrical Engineering. I find this committee quite interesting, particularly when we were discussing the dynamics of how different political factions and groups compete for influence within the media space. And I think what was quite important was the discussion that also took place, that whilst it is recognized that within Pakistan the media is quite fragmented, reflecting politics and wider society, even within consolidated societies like the UK, you still have political influence. It's just slightly more subtle. However, the relationship between politics and media is one that is so close it can never be separated wherever you go.
My name is Shahab. I'm from Leeds. I study at UEA and I'm doing my master's in media with international development. We've just attended the PFLC 2014 conference. I was in the media committee. It's been very enlightening. We had Salim Safi Saab yesterday. Today we had Moeed Pirzada. They've explained the media landscape in more detail. There are many challenges. There are political challenges, there are economical challenges. Media is a growing and maturing industry within Pakistan, and it's got a long way to go. And I think we've been given the opportunity to share our thoughts, pose questions, give solutions, give some answers, get people together, empower one another, and to get the ball rolling for a better and more prosperous Pakistan.
I am Esther Das, and my identity here that I would like to share with you is that I am associate editor with W Corps magazine that's called The Bridge, Diaspora Bridge, and that actually works for creating a bridge between Pakistani diaspora over here and the people of Pakistan back home. What we are doing here is we are trying to shape the thoughts of people to go forward for knowing the problems and then going away forward for a solution. So what's happening here? We were in the media committee, and that was so interesting to know how those organizations and different power bodies are controlling media, the world media and also the national media of different countries. We were spot on Pakistan media, and we were given very valuable information in understanding the infrastructure, the ownership model, the business model of media of Pakistan, and those were the things that I would never have discovered on my own through my research or by any other means. For that, I would give it a very much value for information that it has scattered, and then that has been scattered, and then it was recollected over here and then shared with the people who were here. We were given chance for questions as well, and I think there were very insightful questions from the audience that was a kind of that was showing that they were thinking and they were in line with what was being delivered to them. Thank you very much.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। मैं चूँकि तब्दीली का ख्वाहिशमंद हूँ और उस मुल्क से आया हूँ जहाँ आजकल तब्दीली का गलगला है, तो पहली तब्दीली तो मैं यहाँ ये लाना चाहता हूँ, अगर आप लोग इजाज़त दें, कि मैं अंग्रेज़ी की बजाय उर्दू में बात करूँगा। मुझे अंग्रेज़ी ज़्यादा आती भी नहीं है। दूसरा, सबसे पहले तो मैं मशकूर हूँ ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी पाकिस्तान सोसाइटी का और उनके प्रेसिडेंट और अरकान का, कि उन्होंने एक ऐसे बंदे को ये मौका प्रोवाइड किया जो एक देहाती इलाके में टाट के स्कूल में पढ़ने वाले हैं और जिनको पाकिस्तान की किसी अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी में भी रेगुलर पढ़ना नसीब नहीं हुआ था। तो मुझे दुनिया की जो सबसे एक प्रेस्टीजियस इंस्टीट्यूशन है ऑक्सफोर्ड का, और जहाँ पाकिस्तान की जो जहानत की दुनिया है उसके क्रीम इकट्ठे होते हैं, तो उनके सामने मुझे खड़ा होने की सआदत बख्शती है। मैं समझता हूँ कि जो सबसे बड़ी पाकिस्तान के पास इस वक्त अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ के लिहाज से या एक जो कुदरत की तरफ से हमें दिया गया है, वो आबो हवा और कुदरती और नेचुरल वसाइल है। दूसरे नंबर पे जो हमें अल्लाह ने दी है वो अफरादी क़ुव्वत है, वो टैलेंट है, वो सलाहियत है, वो मेहनत करने की इस्तेदाद है, जो दुनिया के बाकी मुल्कों में बहुत कम पाया जाता है। तीसरी चीज़ जो अल्लाह ने हमें दी है वो हमारी स्ट्रेटिजिक लोकेशन है, कि हम एक तरफ सेंट्रल एशिया اور ساؤتھ ایشیا کو جوڑتے ہیں. دوسرا ابھی جو نیکسٹ ایمرجنگ پاور ہے چین، اور پھر جو باقی دنیا کے درمیان ہم واقع ہیں اور ہم لنک بھی بن سکتے ہیں، اور اس لحاظ سے بھی دونوں قوتوں کے لیے ہماری ایک اسٹریٹجک اہمیت ہے. اور یہی معاملہ وہ یہی ہے کہ جو ہندوستان جن کے ساتھ ہمارا اختلاف ہوگا، لیکن بہرحال وہ ایک بڑی اکنامک پاور بھی ہے، ایک بڑا مڈل کلاس بھی ہے، اس کی بیشتر ضرورت ہے وہ سنٹرل ایشیا کے ساتھ نتی ہو گئی ہے اور درمیان میں ہم واقع ہے. تو یہ جو ایک اسٹریٹجک لوکیشن ہے، میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ یہ بھی اللہ تعالیٰ کی طرف سے ہمیں ایک بڑا عطیہ ہے اور وہ ہماری اہمیت کو بڑھاتا ہے. پھر چوتھی چیز جس کی طرف میکارتنی صاحب نے بھی اشارہ کیا، وہ ہمارے ہاں کی ڈائیورسٹی ہے. یعنی آپ اس ملک میں رہتے ہیں تو آپ کو کم و بیش ایک ہی لسانی اکائی ملے گی، ایک ہی رنگ کے لوگ ملیں گے. ہمارے ہاں آپ گلگت سے لے کے اگر گوادر تک آئیں اور دوسری طرف آپ خیبر سے کراچی تک آئیں تو آپ کو کئی قومیتیں، کئی طرح کے رنگ، زبان، کلچر، یہ سب ڈائیورسٹی. آپ کیلاش کے کلچر کو دیکھ لیں ایک ہی ملک کے اندر، اور پھر آپ آئیں تو کراچی کے اور اندرون سندھ کے کلچر کو دیکھیں، آپ کو انتہائی لبرل طبقہ بھی اسی پاکستان میں ملے گا اور آپ کو انتہائی کنزرویٹو طبقہ بھی اسی پاکستان میں ملے گا. تو یہ جو ایک ڈائیورسٹی ہے، یہ میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ اور اس ڈائیورسٹی کے نتیجے میں ہی صلاحیتیں وہ ابھرتی ہیں اور تخلیق کا جو عمل ہے وہ زیادہ سے زیادہ فروغ پاتا ہے. پھر ایک اور چیز، وہ ان سب کچھ خامیوں کے باوجود وہ پاکستان کا ایٹمی قوت ہونا ہے. ظاہری بات ہے کہ وہ دنیا میں بھی ہمیں ایک حیثیت دلا چکا ہے اور ہمارے دفاعی ضروریات کے لحاظ سے بھی، یا پھر ہمارے دفاع کو انشور کرنے کا بھی ذریعہ ہے. اور اگر آپ جیسے لوگوں نے قیادت سنبھال لی تو ہم اس ایٹمی صلاحیت کو بہت سارے دیگر مدات میں بھی اور اس میں بھی ہم استعمال کر سکتے ہیں. تو اس کے لیے اب آپ جو فیوچر کی لیڈرشپ ہے، اگر آپ لوگ پہلا کام تو یہ کریں کہ ملک واپس آئے، دوسرا کام یہ کریں کہ سیاستدان بننے کی بجائے لیڈر بننے کی کوشش کریں. تو میرے خیال میں ان چیلنجز کا بھی مقابلہ کیا جا سکتا ہے، اور یہ جو اپرچونٹیز ہے ان سے فائدہ اٹھا کے پاکستان کو حقیقی معنوں میں وہ پاکستان بھی بنایا جا سکتا ہے جس کا خواب قائد اعظم محمد علی جناح نے دیکھا تھا.
I think British students who are studying here with ambitions to lead Britain would hesitate to suggest in a public conference that they were the future leaders. They may have similar ambitions, but I think they would be rather more low-key about advertising them. And I think if some of the members of the British establishment's children who are here from the UK held a conference saying Britain's Future Leaders Conference, they would probably be driven out of town fairly rapidly, and it wouldn't be greatly appreciated. I mean, I dare say, I think there is a bit of a difference maybe in the perception about describing yourself as future leaders. And it may also be worth making the point that I'm aware that quite a few of you would not appreciate hearing from a Westerner about Pakistan, that many of you might think it is inappropriate for someone from the UK to be opining and talking about Pakistan. And I do very much take the point that many Westerners who visit the developing world seem to have a greater desire to lecture people in the developing world rather than to learn from them. And of course, many of the things they lecture the developing world about, they are themselves guilty of. There are members of parliament here who fiddle their expenses and then speak with great confidence about how devilish corruption is elsewhere. So there are a lot of double standards. There are a lot of aid workers who are very idealistic and often very well-meaning, but who go to developing countries, Pakistan included, and seem to think that they have the right to tell Pakistanis how to live. And often these aid workers don't actually have very great educations themselves. So I don't see that they are in a great position to lecture others. So I fully take the point that you may not particularly want to hear from me, and I rather sympathise with that point of view. I would take what I say with a great pinch of salt, because I'm sure you can make your own decisions and have your own views, which would be much more relevant than mine. I would just urge you, though, to try to think a bit behind the headlines and behind the mainstream opinions onto what is going on with these sort of social trends. And as a final remark, I guess I better say, if you do end up leading Pakistan, I wish you luck. It's not an easy job.
Pakistan came into being on 14th August 1947 and was carved out of British subcontinent with the motherlands of five different people who spoke different languages, who had their own cultures, their own traditions. The Bengalis, the Sindhis, the Pashtuns, the Punjabis, the Baloch, the Saraikis. They had their own motherland since centuries. Of them all, Pashtuns made a lot of sacrifices for their motherland, against the British Empire, then again when Pakistan came into being, against every dictatorial regime. I tell you frankly, I'm a Pashtun and a practicing Muslim. I tell you with whatever honesty I have got on my command, to measure one's distance from a person on this basis, that what is his color, on this basis, what creed he belongs, on this basis, from which continent he is, we Pashtuns, and particularly Pashtun Millennium Party, we consider it to be a sin. We are all human beings. We are the descendants of Eve and Adam. So we have to make this planet a beautiful planet. I think responsibility doesn't lie on the weaker nations, on us people. It comes to my friend Jones. They have to lead. They have to lead this, how to make this planet like a good village. Differences of opinion are there, so we should be. Secondly, Islam. Pashtuns, once more, here we are students from Pakistan, from various nationalities, various nations. Till 1800, we must not forget history. Till 1800, the Afghan land from Oxus to Indus was one and the same. All the Pashtuns now living on this side of the Dural line, round about having 150,000 square miles in different, the Fatah and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the Pashtuns on this side of the Dural line in Punjab, Miawali and Attock, and the upper part of Balochistan, which we call British Afghanistan, British Balochistan. In Pakistan, one thing we say, we, the Pashtuns, we are not going to take lessons from anyone in Pakistan, because we had been in the forefront. When the British came in, we were the people who resisted with guns. Each and every village, right from Swat and Waziristan, Bajawar, to South Waziristan, these people fought valiantly. Even Sir Winston Churchill came there as a lieutenant. And we have his Burj Al Tashta, yeah, it is there. So in the democratic struggle, we were in the forefront against each and every martial law. We were in the forefront of forming alliances. The generals were trying to have a constitution where the rule of the military should be commanding. While our approach is, and we will never compromise with anybody, our approach is that Pakistan must have a parliament, a federation of 5 people, Pashtun, Baloch, Sindhi, Saraikis, Punjabis. Each and every people must have the constitutional guarantee on its resources. And each and every parliament, provincial assembly and the national assembly must be the origin of power. Foreign policies and interior policies must wait. Not record wrong, we had been opposed with Punjab of the 50s and 60s. Its judiciary, its civil bureaucracy, its military bureaucracy, they left nothing. But now we are hopeful in the leadership of Nawaz Sharif, a democratic Punjabi is coming out. And one thing is very, very, very positive, that the entire judiciary, the media, and the entire parliament, they are one and the same. And we are sure that the army under Sharif will come to this orbit. So we are not against this, against any kind of opposition, but anybody who will, anybody, how powerful he may be, either from the military or civil inside, who will attack the sovereignty of Parliament, will face our opposition of the hardest type.
I pay tributes to Benazir Bhutto, whose portrait is in this Hall of Fame. As the Prime Minister of Pakistan, as the Speaker of the National Assembly, as federal ministers, and as the Prime Minister of Pakistan, we had faced many challenges. And those challenges which I want to mention here, number 1 was democracy, 2, terrorism and extremism, 3, major electricity shortages, 4th, major reforms. We did a lot for women empowerment. And that is, I used to say, my constituency is women and minorities. Therefore, we brought a lot of changes, reforms for women empowerment, and for the first time, we made the governor of Gilgit-Baltistan, she was a lady. And our speaker, she was a lady. Our foreign minister, she was a lady. And BISP program, who headed, she was a lady. And in many areas, there were ladies who were serving. And not only this, even woman person was a lady. And we gave freedom of press. That is the focus in the West and everywhere, that you want a free media. And we gave a lot of incentives to them. And media, we deleted all the draconian laws. And we gave the access to information. And we made them so powerful that even when there was some curbs on them through the previous government, that means General Musharraf's time, Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto, she came immediately within 24 hours, and she came and she supported the judiciary and the media. Because I think if media is strong, the governments are stable. And we want to give them more powers. And one thing I tell you, there were no political prisoners in my tenure as who was a political prisoner. There was none. And that was for the first time in the history of Pakistan. We brought labor laws to give more facilities to the labor. Youth. there are 60 to 65% youth in Pakistan. That's the country where they have the future. And I think the youth can play an extremely important role for building Pakistan. And I think that the leadership, younger leadership, can play an important role. After hearing the challenges, I still feel that Pakistan has a great future. And a great future because we need some consistency in the policies. If two governments complete their tenure and we sitting in the opposition, we are a responsible opposition. Some people, they think that we are supporting the government. But to be very honest, we are supporting democracy. We are supporting the Constitution of Pakistan. We are supporting the Parliament of Pakistan. And we are supporting 180 million people of Pakistan. We are not with the government, but we are for the Constitution. Because we gave the Constitution, we restored the Constitution. Therefore, we will not allow the Constitution to be abolished again, because we had paid a huge price for that.
What do you think about this whole activity as a future leader?
Oh, I mean, I don't think I'm a future leader, but those who want to be future leaders, I think it's a very sort of positive platform. I mean, it can potentially be very positive, because one of the great things about a place like this is there can be an exchange of ideas that can, potentially lead to something better. One learns to sort of be tolerant of other points of view, and then hopefully bring sort of different points of view together and bring, certain fruitful ideas to take the, issues forward. But I mean, it could equally degenerate. So it really depends on how you take this. But I think the platform being available is a very good thing. And I think these people have used this platform really well to bring all points of view across. Because Pakistan is a very heated, it's a very polarized society. And you're going to have very different points of view. And the best thing about a place like this is if we learn to accept, first of all, our differences.
It's very important. We are in desperate need of people who want to contribute back to their country and who take pride in their country. And inshallah, I hope that the people who are here will act on everything that they've spoken about as well.
I like to, meeting such people, I learned a lot. And I like to come again back here and to such events. That's it. Thank you.